Everyone, welcome to Watercolor. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tutorial on how to actually start adding in the bush that will come across the rock right here. But just to give you a little rundown on this watercolor painting that we're working on. This is actually your sky, so it's kind of an evening sky, and then of course you've got the horizon in a distance, and then of course you've got your water. So you're going to see your effect will kind of turn from a darker blue into a lighter blue. And of course, this is called perspective. So the farther away something is, it will appear darker. The closer it will appear to you, it will appear lighter. And you'll also notice that when I've painted, I've kind of painted in a downwards motion. So you can kind of start going across. And then as you're continuing to paint, you can take your paintbrush and you can kind of paint and follow the slope of the rock. This, what I've done here is I've actually just outlined it with just pure black with a little bit of a wet brush in there. And I'll go over to my black right now. So I've put the black into my palette, literally just added one dab of water. And when you dab it, you actually just dab against the edge and you'll see that how that drop kind of has fallen into the black. And I'm just going to give it a quick little stir. Always dab, 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 dab before you go on to any wet page. And I'll just show you here why. So see how there's actually no water left in my paintbrush. What happens is when you don't dab, so I'll actually just go back here and I'll put my paintbrush back in, but when you don't dab, your paintbrush is actually soaking wet with water, and then what happens is when you go to put it down, you're actually leaving puddles of water, and that's a big no-no in watercolor. So the idea is that when you're using any type of paint, you always want to dip, dab, 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 and then go ahead and paint. So just keep in mind, you might think that you don't have paint on your paintbrush, but you do have paint on your paintbrush. So again, any color, dip, 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 dab, 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 dab. And then of course, when you paint, you'll see that you do have enough color always in your paint. So just to kind of show you what you don't want to happen again, if you go ahead and just paint without dabbing, you'll see that you've got puddles of water. So hopefully that helps. So going back to our picture now, with the rock outline, you're just gonna go ahead and outline your rock outline all the way down, and then of course fill it in. And when you're filling it in, what I've done is I've actually gone in a circular motion. And the reason that I always paint in a circular motion for anything that's in a perspective painting is because it actually builds up something called texture and color buildup. So I'll kind of get in really close there. So you'll see that I'm going in small little circles, just using the tip of my paintbrush. You never really need to put your paintbrush right down onto your picture because you'll actually do two things. You'll ruin your bristles. See how my paintbrush is already starting to split from me doing that. And again, keep in mind that paint always sits at the tip of your brush. So it will never be at the end of your brush. It'll always sit at the tip of your brush. So that's a little bit of a tutorial with how to put your black in. And I will show you another little step on how to actually start to build up your bush. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip my picture around and I'm going to just show you this really quickly. So I'm just actually putting some paint on my brush. So I'm going to start right from the edge. So I'm going to give you guys a little quick demo. So hopefully I'll put my picture. I'm just going to actually move this over. So starting from the tip of my paintbrush, I'm just going to actually move over so you can get a really good visual of what I'm doing. So I'm going to actually start off just using the tip of my brush, and it's called a wisp. So I'm going to actually wisp up. And the idea is that as I do this, so you go down to your page and then you come off of your painting. So down to your page, off of your painting. Down to your page, off of your painting, and you just kind of got to wisp them up. Okay, so to show you that in a closer view, full brush down on your page, and as you kind of come up, you pull the brush up and you wisp away. You never want to go back and fix these. How they turn out is how they stay. And you're going to do a whole bunch of them. So I'm going to do a whole bunch and then I'll snap a picture so you can see a completed picture. But we're looking to create wisps on this side and then a few coming out from this corner. So have fun doing this. Enjoy, guys.